Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the all-new 2024 Mercedes Benz CLE450 Coupe. This model is finished off in Patagonia Red Metallic, and with all the options, MSRP is just over $78,000. Now this is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's also paired to the 48-volt hybrid system along with the 9-speed automatic. Combined, pumps out 375 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. The hybrid system alone adds 23 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. Now all of that power is sent through the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,200 pound coupe from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. It has a top speed of 130 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 17.4 gallons. You'll expect to see around 22 miles per gallon in the city, 31 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 112.8 inches. Its overall length is 191. It has a width of 73.3 and a height of 56.2 inches. Now as we take a look at this exterior again, this Patagonia Red Metallic is an optional color. It's about $2,000, but it is a beautiful color for this luxury focused coupe. And as we work our way to the front, you'll notice with the grille, a lot of chrome accents. There's also 2 Mercedes Benz badges. One is the forward sensor. There's also the badge on the top of the bumper there. There's also a forward-facing camera, the chrome accents that go off of that logo, as well as the entire grille there. This also has a set of LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. And then you'll notice too, in the lower section, where there's also some parking sensors, there's more of the design that you will notice that is in the grille. So this is a solid piece in the lower section, but it still has that same design just to blend it in a little bit nicer. And then there's a very large inlet in that lower section to provide additional cooling, with that piece finished off in gloss black. There's also some nice lines that come down the hood as well. And then for this model, this also has the optional 20-inch wheels. They have an interesting design to them with that multi-spoke design, as well as the very thick surround. There's also the pinstripe for the entire outside, and then there's the silver Mercedes Benz badge there. Now with this 450, this also has the adaptive damper, so it has the sport tuned suspension with some different driving modes, just depending on how you would like to set it up. This also has power folding side mirrors with the camera and the turn signal, and then a full moonroof as well. There's chrome for the door handles there, and then the classic coupe design looks very similar to a lot of the other Mercedes-Benz coupes. We have back seats as well, so we have that large rear window there, and then just a very nice sloping rear glass that leads to the back. Very sleek lines down the side as well, so everything just has a sleek look to it. Now in back, there's a very small trunk-mounted spoiler. There's also the gloss black trim accent that runs in between the LED taillights, where of course it has LED turn signals as well. Now the backup camera is currently hidden. That's actually on the underside of the Mercedes-Benz logo. So when you put the vehicle into reverse, of course that will pop out. There's also all the parking sensors, and then we have some chrome surrounding the exhaust tips in the back. And then the diffuser is right in the middle. Now, in order to take a look at the cargo space, you can use the button on the key fob or come back to the Mercedes logo where you can just push it on the top, and that is how you can release it. Now, being a coupe, it still has some good practicality to it. There's a good bit of space with those back seats up. There's also a hook, so you can use that as needed. There's also a little bit of storage underneath the floor if you would like to use that too. And you can fold the back seats down. So that's going to give you a lot more practicality. You can put in some larger items as needed. Now up top, this is a power trunk. So you can lock the vehicle. The one on the left side will just close it, which is of course nice. What you would expect for this vehicle. And then as we take a look at the interior, the door panel has some very nice materials. There's all the leather, all the brushed aluminum, the Burmester audio. This also has heated and ventilated front seats, which is an option. Memory seating adjustments, all of the actual seat controls. You have lock and unlock. There's also the window adjustments, and then the side mirror controls, trunk release, and a little bit of storage down below. Now, Mercedes-Benz is also an illuminating badge, and it's going to be hard to see during the day, of course, but there is a very large Mercedes-Benz logo that will illuminate at nighttime. And then looking at these leather seats, they have a very nice design to them. And then this is how we can gain access to the rear. So there's a leather strap that you can pull on, and once you have that backrest forwards, the seat is going to move its way forwards, giving you space to hop into the back. So this is a 4-seater. And as far as legroom goes, you do have some legroom to work with. A little bit of storage with some air vents in the middle. And at 5'10", my head is just touching the headliner. So I probably wouldn't want to go on a long trip, but I could ride around town if I needed to be in the back. We have leather on the armrest, you have a speaker. There's also cup holders, and then you have a little bit of space in front of that if you need it. And you can even fold down this middle seat or this middle area if you need to. Very thin opening there, but if you have to reach for some items or you want that as an armrest, you can use that as needed. And then we have some large windows in the back, and of course the moonroof there to give you some additional lighting. So it's really not all that bad if you have to ride in the back. And then obviously you have additional cargo space as needed. And then hopping into the front seat, we have the solid and perforated leather steering wheel. On this left side, all of your cruise control adjustments are in the lower section. On the right side, there's a favorites. There's also your voice commands, volume, and Bluetooth controls. And then we have identical buttons up top for the infotainment and the gauge cluster screen. So let's fire this up. Take a listen to the CLE. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster now, for the current setup, you'll see miles per hour and fuel on the left side. Right side, there's the TAC, as well as your power and charge for the hybrid system. And then right in the middle, there's some vitals that you can look at. Now, using the controls on the left side of the steering wheel, if I push on home, you can view all of this information now. So we were just on classic, but I can also scroll over to sport mode, where the gauge cluster is going to change, show you a little bit different vitals. If we go back into classic though, you can also swipe through some of this information within the center. So you have miles per hour and your TAC, and then all this information that you can easily swipe through as well, including the navigation. And then you can go back, pull up the nav in full screen, so that will take up the entire screen there. You have your driver assistance and your service. Then you can also scroll up and you can switch on the head-up display. So just by clicking on that, this is what you are going to view on the head-up display, depending on what you would like to see. So it might be hard to see, but we can go through those and change those as needed, just depending on what you'd like to see. So it's nice that you have those adjustments, pretty configurable, just depending on what you would like to have. Now this also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters on both sides. And then behind the steering wheel, we have the turn signal as well as the wiper blades on the left side there. Right side is actually how you adjust your gears. So push this up for reverse, where that backup camera is going to appear. And we have some different angles, of course, just depending on what you would like to see. Drive is going to be all the way down, and then park is located on the end of that stalk. Now on this left side, we have the headlight adjustments. There's the e-brake, some of the interior lighting, which of course is an option, trim accent just above that with one air vent. And then there are 3 identical air vents right in the middle above the infotainment system, which is angled back slightly. If we push on home, you can get to this screen right here. You can also use the home button on the right side of the steering wheel. So if you push on it again, or you use the one down below, you can get into these icons here where you can go into comfort. This does have massaging seats, which is an option. You can go into all these seating adjustments, even get into your ambient lighting, which is of course great to see. And then if you go back to home again, you have different settings that you can go into for all of this information. So you have quite a lot to go through. Now, if you push the car up top, you can go through a few of these here if you'd like to. You can also swipe down from the top to look at any notifications. And then in the lower section, you have all of your climates. So you have your fan speed, your temperature, climate menu, which you can get into and adjust. You have the air quality that you can go through as well. And then you even have a recirc control. Now there's also physical buttons in the lower section. We'll start on the left side with the driving modes. So you can go through these 4. You can even customize one as needed. There's also a shortcut to the camera system, so you can quickly pull that up. If you push on the car, this is how you can get into your head-up display. You have your manual shifting, and you have a few other icons that you can go through as needed. There's also hazards, a fingerprint scanner here. You have power and mute, as well as volume for your audio. So you can just swipe your finger or push on plus and minus. Now with this control here, just to show that briefly, you can use this the same way. So you can swipe through all of this information, just depending on how you would like to do it. Now underneath that, there's some auxiliaries with wireless charging on that left side, 2 cup holders with a little bit of storage. You can also push on that release to hide away all of that if you would like to. And then there's also this control right here to open up the split armrest, where you have a few more auxiliaries. There's also the glove box with plenty of space, more of that lighting, of course, leather on the dash. And then up top, you have your rear view mirror along with your garage door controls. As you can tell, the sunshade is transparent. We have a little bit of the sun coming through. What I need to do in order to open this now is just swipe my finger once, and we can open up the entire sunshade. So now we have more of a moonroof. And then if I decide to swipe on it a second time, it will actually pop up the rear glass there and then open up the entire sunroof. So you can open that up for this vehicle. Not all that hard to do, but then you just have to swipe twice in order for that to close and the sunshade to close as well. And then here's a look at visibility over both shoulders. It's pretty easy to see. Even over this left side, you have that small window there. So it's a new day. I have several more miles under my belt from second gear in sport mode. Here we go. This is definitely a quick vehicle. It sounds really good too. And these paddles are very responsive. Now we will be getting to some twisty roads here from the POV angle to really see how this performs. But this has been a really cool coupe to drive around for the last couple of days. Being a Mercedes Benz, it's exactly what you would expect as far as being more luxury focused and just giving you a really nice blend of pretty much everything. This would make for a great daily driver. And then you also have some performance to have some fun with this. But I really haven't had any complaints with it. It's quick, it's definitely fun, and you just get that luxury vibe from a Mercedes Benz. I like all of the tech that it has. I mean, it's a nice place to be. So I really haven't had any complaints over the last couple of days. Obviously, it's not an ownership experience video, but getting some miles under my belt, it's been pretty nice. It's also very comfortable, it's quiet, aside from that exhaust note. And we do have the functional modes too. So we can put it into eco mode, but this is full throttle, and it definitely eliminates your throttle response. So just depending on how you would like to drive, you can quickly go through those different modes. We're in second gear again, here we go. You can feel a little bit of the weight, especially around that minor turn there. But brakes do a good job as well. And I mean, it seems to carry its weight around these turns very nicely, but you can tell the weight is there. And with this upgraded suspension, it's still pretty stiff feeling in sport mode, which is nice, but it's also going to be forgiving. Like the bumps here on this bridge, it's going to take those very nicely. So it's not a stiff or a harsh ride, even in sport mode. But it's got very good performance and plenty of power, but you can also go up to the 53 AMG if you want that next level. So if you're not looking for that, this is honestly very fun to drive. I like the power. It's very, very adequate for this style vehicle, and it handled that road very well. Pretty tight and narrow road too, but this has the handling and the performance with the combination of being a luxury coupe. I don't think this has launch control or anything, but from second gear again, here we go. Definitely pretty quick. But that's going to wrap it up for this 2024 Mercedes Benz CLE450. Definitely a really cool new coupe or new redesign for this model. You have a lot of different options as well, so you can spec this exactly how you want it and just have a very nice luxury focused and performance style daily driver. Well, that's going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.